In a minute, we're going to be joined by Jake Shields, who, of course, was in the corner of one Nathan Diaz. In fact, he is joining us right now. He is on the phone as I speak. Jake, are you there?
Hey, yeah, I'm here. How you doing?
Thank you so much for coming on, Jake. I appreciate it. And really, congratulations to you and the team. Nate refers to you as his big bro. He's your little bro. What was it like to see him finally? And you'd been there for Nick before, but Nate's never been in a spot like that. Main eventing, pay-per-view, all eyes on him, as his walkout song suggests. To finally see him step up and win like that on such a big stage, what was that like for you personally?
Oh, man, it was great because, like I said, Nate is like a little brother to me. I've known him since he was, I believe, 15. He was just, remember he was a young little punk kid at the gym and been working out with him, so I did take him on like a brother. And to see him, obviously everyone knows, too, he had a lot of issues with pay, getting screwed around by Dana. So for him to finally step up and win such a big fight in such an exciting fashion and get paid, I couldn't be happier for him.
Were you confident the whole time? I mean, this whole thing happened quickly, and, I kind of referred to it as like, this fight is so good, but I wish he had a full camp. Did you feel, regardless of the fact that you guys were going to do it?
Yeah, I believed in him regardless. Obviously, definitely the camp would have been a lot better, but I still felt like Nate was just a better fighter, the bigger. I felt like he had a lot more experience. I felt like he'd pull it through anyways. I mean, the camp would have been nice, especially since Nate was out in Cabo, I believe, just the week before he got called out there, for a week out there partying and training, and not training, partying, drinking, having fun. So that was a setback, but I knew Nate has heart. The amount of heart he has, and he's a natural condition. I knew he'd go out there and pull it out anyways.
And what about the build-up, like all the back and forth and all that? At any point, did he say to you, did you get an inkling that this had been made personal, that he was more fired up? Were you worried that he would fight too emotionally? What did you make of all of that?
Conor was definitely making things, which made me invested and really want Conor beat up. The fact that he was insulting our whole team and everyone, I thought, Conor crossed some lines. And, but Nate's smart, a veteran. I'm sure he knew this, but I definitely gave him advice. I know I gave him advice before he went out there. I'm like, hey, Conor's trying to get you riled up. He wants you to run in, make a mistake like Aldo. So don't do that. Go out there and fight your game. And that was his plan, to go out there and not fight too hard the first round. To go out there and play around, let Conor punch himself out, and bring the pace up on the second.
So you were okay with how the first round went? Because a lot of people, including myself, thought Conor won. The first round, landed a few more shots, did more damage. That being said, you were fine with that?
I'm not going to say I was fine with that. I definitely, the plan was not to go out crazy the first round, but Conor landed some better shots than I want and cut him, so I wasn't happy with it. I thought I would rather it have been more even the first round, but, the game plan was not to go too crazy the first round. Okay, and then what did you say in between the first and second rounds to get him going? Just pick it up a little bit. You need to start throwing more punches now. You need to start popping the jab more, follow it with the left hand so he can't walk you down. If a takedown arises itself, take it. He went out there and started picking them apart in the second.
Yeah, it seemed like he landed a big, I think it was a left, and that was the beginning of the end, and then Conor went for the takedown. When he went for the takedown, did you think, okay, this is a major red flag, he's seriously hurt here?
Oh, yeah, I knew it was over when he went for the takedown. You could see it actually before that. Nate landed a couple shots, and you could see it in Conor's face that he was broke. Conor hasn't really been in a war like that, if in a long time. I've never seen Conor in a war. He's used to going out there and bullying people around. That's something I knew. Nate's a true warrior. I know if it went deep and they started battling, Nate would be able to keep going. And I could see it in Conor's face that he was done before that. So by the time he shot, by then I already knew the fight was over.
You've been in this game a long time. Did you think it was just crazy for a 145er to move up, 25 pounds? Did you think that he was biting off more than he could chew?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, Nate is a small 70-pounder, of course. Nate's really a 55-pounder, but I still think Conor should have tried making him come to 60 or 65. Made him cut a little more and do that. I think it was too. I think the kid. One thing about Conor, he does believe in himself. I'll give him credit. I might not care for Conor, but he is ballsy. He's got lots of balls, and he truly believes in himself, and he's willing to do big things. So I'll respect him for that. But it was a ballsy move that didn't pay off.
So you were kind of involved in all of this. As short as the run was, he talked about you when Nate accused Conor of being on steroids, and he brought up your situation. What was your reaction to that? What did you think of that?
No, I just think it's bullshit to try bringing us in and getting me mixed in on something that I'm not involved with. I think it's disrespectful, and that's why I didn't really care for Conor. And he's got to watch, at the press conference, and start mouthing off of me saying he was like strangle me, and that's just laughable. The guy needs to watch out who he talks shit to. It's like we're fighters, and he thinks he can talk shit to bigger, better fighters. He needs to be careful, or he's going to get beat up.
And then at the press conference, I saw you there front and center. It appeared as though he punched Nate Diaz's hand. You jumped in there. How close were we to this thing actually getting like Nashville all over again? Because it was diffused rather quickly, but for you guys, you guys were right there. I mean, what he did, I thought, that wasn't cool. You can't punch a guy's hand before a fight. How close was it?
Yeah, exactly. I saw him for the punch. I wasn't sure where he hit Nate. I couldn't see my angle, like where he hit him. I just saw him throw a punch. So my instincts got really mad. My first thing was just to go right after him. So I hopped on stage and started going after him. But then I was actually at an angle where I actually could have got him. But then I realized that'd be a stupid thing to do. I didn't want to mess Nate's fight up and Nate's big payday. So luckily my brains kicked in before my instincts. And I kind of backed up.
A lot of rumors and stuff that he really seriously hurt Nate's hand. Now that it's over, was there any damage to it?
No, I think it was a little bruised and sore, but it was nothing serious. I mean, Nate's gonna, even if his hand was messed up, he was going to fight anyways. It's the way he is. We're not the kind of guys that pull out fights over stupid things.
When you saw that, though, did you think, not that long ago, Ronda got into it with Holly and people viewed that as a sign of weakness? Perhaps in hindsight it was. When you saw that, did you think, okay, maybe we got this guy, maybe he's rattled, he's trying to get us off our game, but in doing so, he's kind of tipping his hand? Did you think about that at all?
I mean, yeah, you think about it, but it's hard to say. I definitely agree he was rattled. He was definitely rattled. That's why he was acting that way. But it doesn't mean, you still got fighting. You can't read too much into that kind of stuff. You could tell Nate was definitely getting under his skin. But we do know Conor, he's an explosive striker, and he's still a dangerous guy.
For Nate Diaz, what's been the difference now? Like the Michael Johnson fight, this fight, he has looked better than ever. Like last time I think he looked this good was maybe when he beat Jim Miller around 4 years ago. But after that extended period, we didn't know what was gonna happen with him in his career. Why has he looked so good? Is there something different about him? Is he maturing? What's your perspective?
I think it's a combination. I think part of it, he's maturing and coming to his own, and also I think he was really burnt out for a while. He felt like the UFC and Dana was screwing him. He didn't even really want to fight. He was debating if he even wanted to fight anymore. So it was hard for him to be motivated to do it. And then he had excuses, but he also was dealing with an injury during the Dos Anjos fight, and then if you fight, you're still responsible for it. So that's not to make an excuse, but I mean that is a factor still. So he just wasn't himself.
Right. Okay. And now, what do you think happened? Like, what would you like to see him do now? Do you want to see him stay at 170, go back down to 155? Dana White joked that we might not see him again now that he's got all this money. What do you think happens?
I think he'll want to fight again. I think obviously he enjoyed the payday. You never do know. Maybe he won't fight again. Fighting's a tough business. But I think he will. And I mean, I think he could fight 70 or 55. I think naturally he's probably better at 55 because the 70s are huge. But I heard people mention him against Lawler, and I think that would be a good fight. Stylistically, that could be an awesome fight.
How did you guys celebrate on Saturday?
Well, Nate ended up getting out really late, by the time the press conference getting done, so I didn't meet up with him till later. I just went out with some of the guys, hit a couple clubs, and ended up all night, one of those wild nights. As you can hear, I kind of lost my voice, so that's why I'm kind of sounding ridiculous.
But, like I said, you've been there, done that. You were part of the biggest show in UFC history still to this day. Was this one of the more fun experiences of your career, just being a part of this crazy ride and then actually coming out on top in the end?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is amazing. Obviously Nate's the one that did it, but luckily I was there in his corner and got to get a little bit of the happiness and the hype. And like I said, he's like a brother to me. It's like some of these teams you can tell these guys don't even care. They don't even want their guys to win almost. They get jealous of the fame. But Nate being like my little brother, I'm just so happy for him and so glad to see him finally get a good payday and finally get some respect and get what he deserves.
It's amazing watching you guys as a team because you are like a family. You're so, closely knit and you all have each other's backs. What do you think the difference is between you guys? And you guys have been with each other essentially since day one, and some of these other teams that bounce around and there's no cohesion, there's no loyalty. Why has it worked so well for you guys?
I think because we all started together. We were all just a bunch of young kids with nothing but a dream of fighting, and we were all trained together, and we all came from absolutely nothing, and we're just tough. We beat each other up, and we all kind of rose up together, and all got big, and all fought for titles and won titles, and we did it together. None of us ever left, and we stayed tight the whole time. Most of these teams are a bunch of guys that are already fighters, and they all meet up and join these teams and form these super teams, which is nothing wrong with that. But we're just in a situation where we all happened to train jiu-jitsu together in the beginning, and all turned into a good team.
Final thing on Nate, if you can, the submission. What do you But did he do it perfectly? And what did you make of Conor tapping? Because he's been accused, which I think is ridiculous to be honest, but he's been accused of, looking for a cowardly way out. Holly didn't tap and all that. What's your take on the finish?
I think he was already rattled on the feet, to be honest. I think he was already starting to break. I don't like I said earlier, I don't think he'd ever been in war like that. Once he got hard tested, I think he started questioning himself. He predicted all these early knockouts and been getting them, so he was believing in himself. All of a sudden, he was in a war. He started falling apart. So by the time he shot the shot, I knew it would be the easy submission on the ground. And it was a good submission on Nate's part, but it was more just Conor giving it to him. Once he punched him, he just turned over and rolled over for the rear naked choke.
That comes into play as well. Like in Holly's fight, she wasn't necessarily beaten up, but Conor getting rattled and rocked comes into play as far as the tap is concerned, right? You have to factor that as well, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's already been. He was already a little gassed. It knocks us out of shape. Conor, like Nate says, Conor fights with a crazy energy. He's attacking, throwing kicks, and Nate, was aware of that. And Conor brought that pressure, and he was starting to fade. And then that's when Nate started tagging him. And then when you're getting tired and you're getting tagged, it's like your head's getting rattled, your body's tired. All of a sudden, he's taken down, getting punched in the face. He rolls over, the choke comes on, and Conor could have fought it more for sure. But at that point, he was pretty much done anyway. So it's not like he was being a pussy. He just, he probably should have fought it a little more. But he was going to lose at that point anyways, and he realized that and just tapped out. I definitely don't think Conor's a pussy. He's a tough guy. He's a ballsy guy. He jumps up weight to fight whoever.
Did you gain any more respect for the way he handled the loss afterwards? I don't know if you heard any of the things that he said. Did you change your opinion on him at all?
I didn't hear much of what he said. I heard some little sound bites. It sounded like he wasn't making excuses, which I respect him for that. And I've always respected Conor. Like I said, I think he can be an asshole. I think he can take it too far with things he says. And I think, if he mouths off me again, I'm going to smack him. I don't care. I'm not trying to fight him professionally. I'll just smack him when I see him and let him pop on me. But I respect him as a fighter. I think he's a talented fighter. He's got balls. He's got amazing stand-up, and he's a legit guy. I guess it's good for the sport that he is. He is good at selling fights.
Yeah. And how about you? Because it looked like you were going to get the title shot, World Series of Fighting, and then they came out and there were some issues. Where do you stand in your career? What's next for you, Jake?
Right now I'm just going to do a grappling match out in England, La Polaris. I got a big grappling match coming out there. And then, not sure, trying to work out the World Series of Fighting. I think we're going to come to terms with our contracts. We got that about worked out. So I'll probably be fighting early summer.
Okay, so you're doing a grappling match. Not Husimar Polaris, right? You were talking about the promotion?
Yeah, it's called Polaris. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
For a second, I was
like, he's actually on the show too.
Oh, yes. Who's he fighting? Is it Gary Tonin? Who's he fighting?
Gary Tonin, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Who are you competing against?
I don't know too much about the guy. It's AJ Agazim, I think it is. From those lines, apparently he's. I need to watch some of his matches. I haven't watched him all yet, but I guess he's a good wrestler, a good submission guy. I think he won Worlds or something. I just took the match. I said I'll go get whoever, and that's the guy named it to me, and I said sure. But apparently he's a big name in the jiu-jitsu world, but I don't really. I love training jiu-jitsu, but I don't watch it very often.
And when is this?
April 2nd in England.
Okay, and you're doing a seminar there as well, because I saw some people talking to Nate about that.
I don't have a seminar set up, but I think I've talked to a couple people. I think I'm going to set a couple seminars up while I'm there.
Okay.
Kind of lagging on. Mine got distracted with once Nate signed the fight, this fight, I was more concerned about that.
And are you happy with World Series? Do you want to keep fighting for them, or are you looking to go elsewhere?
Overall, I'm happy. Like everything, there's always some pros and cons, but overall, I think we treated good and it's been a good show. As long as we can figure out this contract, I'm willing to stay with them. Okay.
Do you think you'll get a title shot?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm sure they want to fight for the title. I think it's just supposed to be fighting someone for that, and I was supposed to fight the winner. Okay.
All right. Well, fascinating stuff. Jake, I appreciate it. Best of luck in April with the grappling match. And again, congratulations on a massive night. It was very cool to see you guys. And like I said earlier, before you were on, it was cool to see Nate finally, get out of Nick's shadow for a second and get the respect that he deserves. A really fun moment for people who have been watching him for a very long time. So again, congrats, and I appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, man, definitely. And one more thing, I just wanted to do a shout-out to, I started a coffee company last year with my boys, Dominican Republic, Chimera Coffee, with Fusion Nootropics, and that's really blown up. So any coffee drinkers should check that out.
Okay, how can they check it out? Is there a website?
It's chimeracoffee.com, and it's the coffee's with a K. So it's it's Dominican Republic. We got the Detroit Picks. It's we started last year. Companies always start off slow, but now we're really in momentum and starting to blow up. So
awesome.
It's pretty cool.
I will check that out. I'm a big coffee guy myself all of a sudden since I had kids, so I will check that out. Wish you the best with that.
Cool, man. Thanks a lot.
All right, there he is, Jake Shields stopping by. Great stuff from him.